Odds makers respect them, but you can't just put them in if they don't take care of business.
If he's not healthy this week, that's a big deal.
This is like the pride game for this team.
If I have to see Diego Pavia's mom and Ocho Cinco again, I'm going to lose my mind.
They do not profile like a 10-win team. They profile like 7-win type teams. I can't wait to let 18 to 22-year-olds go through. I made a call, to Vegas. I said, look, we actually need the favorite.
Welcome again. Bear Bets Podcast is back. I am the Bear, joined by Sammy P and Geoff Schwartz. They always say the games in November are the ones you remember, and November is upon us. Kirby Smart, Georgia head coach, will join us shortly, kick around the world's largest outdoor cocktail party and the rest of the season. But, Geoff, college football playoff rankings coming out on Tuesday night, the first one. Any betting opportunities that you might notice?
Betting opportunities, I think, are to fade teams, right, Sammy? Like that's the best way to do this now. I think we've talked for weeks now about which teams we think can win a championship, which teams will be in the playoffs, especially last week with that group of 5 discussion. Memphis winning that game. Again, Coach Undefeated on the Bear Bets podcast was obviously, a good head start. But now I think it's about which teams aren't going to make it based off the first rankings we get.
If you look at the odds, DraftKings does a really good job of giving you options on how to bet the playoff. There are more teams favored to make the playoff, though, than there are slots.
Funny how that happens.
To make the playoff. So depending on who you want to fade, we'll talk about some of our teams here. I personally am going to fade Texas Tech. If you want to fade Oregon, potentially, you get a nice price. Notre Dame, they all have nice plus prices to miss.
It just depends on what you think these teams are going to do last month of the season. Is it worth investing in one loss? Because you look at Notre Dame, you look at Oregon, you look at Texas Tech. Like, if one of the teams loses one more game, that's probably it for them based on their schedule and the conference they're in. And so if you think, like, for example, Oregon, they have Iowa in a couple of weeks. It's going to be a hard game. And then they have USC and Washington to finish out. If you think they're going to lose one of those 4 games, taking the no would be a good wager, Bear.
Yeah, 10-2 Oregon. I think that's still an interesting case study. I still think they probably do sneak in. But the other team you mentioned, Notre Dame, that's the one that is interesting to me because while I think at 10-2, Notre Dame is probably going to get in. That game at Pitt is not a gimme by any means with the way that Pitt has been playing and moving the ball on offense. And we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, this possibility where the ACC maybe gets 3 teams in. If Miami doesn't get to the ACC championship game and they went out and they've got the win, Georgia Tech maybe beats Georgia. They're undefeated going to the ACC championship game, lose a close game to either Virginia or Louisville. We know the winner goes. Probably got to take Georgia Tech. You probably got to take Miami too, Sammy.
And I think the people comparing last year's Notre Dame to this year's Notre Dame are unfairly connecting dots because last year's team did have a veteran quarterback in Riley Leonard. I like Notre Dame. Guys in Vegas like them more than I do, but they still have a freshman quarterback. So you need CJ Carr in November to make big plays, and they have to be basically perfect going forward. It's a very polarizing team. Odds makers respect them. But you can't just put them in if they don't take care of business. They have to do their job too.
The other team that I think it's worth a shot, Bear, cover your ears here, is the Miami Hurricanes. Look, they go on the road this weekend. We'll talk about that game in depth later. They have to end the year at Virginia Tech and at Pitt. There's a possibility at 2-1, they lose one more game. One of the next 5 games. Again, it's SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt to end the season. One of those games, they're done because they're not making conference championship game. We talked about this already. 10-2 Miami
with the win over Notre Dame.
But if Notre Dame doesn't make it either, they need Notre Dame to win. Like, this is where we're at with a lot of these teams. They need the other team to win. Like, for example, I need USC to win this weekend for Oregon. Like, I need these.
Strange bedfellows again. College football playoff time.
This is the way it works. And so I think Miami at 2-1 to miss the playoff. If you think they're going to lose one of the next 5 games, is worth a look at making that wager.
Another team that I'd throw out there too is Vandy. They're minus 150, so the no is actually the favored price. And they've got the road game at Texas this week. They got the road game at Neyland. Auburn at home probably won't be an easy game. We all love the Vanderbilt story, but 10-2 Vandy will get in, but there's a chance they could lose twice the rest of the year.
I was looking to short Texas Tech, and we'll talk more about this later on in the show. They're a 7-point favorite at K-State. They could easily lose this weekend, And I don't know that I like them or trust them in the Big 12 championship if they get there. So that's a plus price that I want a piece of. Red Raiders to miss.
Big game against BYU coming up.
So if Tech is 11-1 in the Big 12 title game and loses, they're out of the playoff?
Yes.
I think they might be.
Okay.
I think they might be. Well, one more that I just quickly thought of here. What about Ole Miss? Like everyone's putting them in right now. Let down spot this week against South Carolina. We'll see if the Gamecocks have maybe mailed it in for the year.
Jeez.
Florida, it might, who knows? They might have the coach bump. Egg Bowl at the end of the year. All Ole Miss's SEC wins have been one-score games. So Rebels still got some work to do to make the playoff. When we come back, Georgia head coach Kirby Smart joins us on Bear Bets. Happy to be joined now by two-time national champion head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, looking ahead to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party this week against the Florida Gators. But we want to give the opportunity for you to let everybody know how those hot yoga classes were going that Lane was giving you during the off week. Did you take him up on that opportunity?
I have not seized the opportunity. I did get the coupons, but I gave them to some friends. Probably needed them more than I do. So I like to hang with big chunky guys like myself, but I did not take advantage of them.
You're amongst friends in the big chunky guy club here with Geoff and I. One thing that you've alluded to quite often this year is about guys being hard to kill, and it's proven itself on the field. Down double digits at Tennessee, down double digits at Auburn, down at home against Ole Miss, and couldn't get a stop for 3 quarters until you allowed 13 yards or whatever it was in the 4th quarter. Like in today's college football landscape, that's not something that we see a lot. Like it takes a really special group to be able to kind of persevere and overcome all that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, man. It's been unique. I like teams better that aren't necessarily hard to kill, that are good at doing the killing. But we hadn't been that team, so we got to kind of live with the identity we have until we can get it fixed. And that this group's been resilient as hell. They love each other. They compete. We've played really good situational football. Like when we've been slow on offense, we've been good on defense, and when we vice versa, it's worked well. But you can't live and die that way in this league. You got to get it fixed.
What's the process like in the locker room of making adjustments when you have sort of a start that you don't expect? How do you guys respond to the coaching that I assume you give them the locker room at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of tell them we've been there before. There's a little bit of a confidence in this this role we've had to play, and they get it. They sense it. They feel their backs against the wall. They play off each other. They play off the momentum of the game, play off of making some plays. So they've handled it well. But the locker room at halftime hasn't always been jovial, to say the least. It's been a work in progress.
Speaking of a work in progress, we got a little bit of a glimpse last year of Gunnar Stockton SEC championship game, college football playoff. You could tell back then that the team kind of gravitated towards him and rallied around him the best as they could. What are the biggest areas? And entering the year, we heard that Georgia's going to be just fine at quarterback. Carson Beck's left. Gunner's going to be just fine. Trust us. And sure, that's kind of how it's played out. What's the biggest area that he's really grown from college football playoff to now being a guy squarely in the Heisman mix?
Yeah, I would say the growth has come in his confidence within the system and the players around him. He's made plays with his legs all year. So I mean, from the first game on, he's made plays with his legs. I think he's making better decisions, when to run, when to throw, when to scramble. Keep your eyes downfield. We've really tried to take an approach of our practices developing him. So I'll say, okay, what do you need, Mike? What do you need, Coach Bobo, to get him better? You need 8-drop, need zone, need scrambles, need things to be really complicated in the pocket. Okay, let's make practice that way so that we can get the benefits of this kid, which is good athlete, accurate thrower, smart. Let's grow him. Let's make him better, and he's done that throughout the year to improve.
Coach, talk about your offensive line this year, dealing with a lot of injuries, trying to figure out where to get guys the reps, and now you sort of have maybe those guys coming back. Talk about that group and the resilience they've shown this season.
Yeah, if it weren't for 2 freshmen that got plugged in and had to play, and it was not always pretty at times with them in there, we would be in trouble. And we've had some guys beat up, banged up. We still do, but proud of the group we have, and we've actually, in a weird way, built some depth to where we might have 8 or 9 guys that can roll and play, which, that keeps you fresh, allows you to play more guys, and that's helped us. But without the 2 freshmen playing early, we probably would have struggled, and they've done a good job.
It's interesting. How is it going? At least are the fans down there struggling? Like you've been you're a defensive guy. You've had dominant defenses forever. You've won national championships and SEC titles because of defense. And now you're proving as a program and a team and as a coach that, you know what, maybe our defense is struggling at times and our offense can win us this game. But that being said, like the fourth quarter of the Ole Miss game, like do you and Coach Schumann like think that that might be a little bit of a breakthrough watershed type moment where we do this, we're going to be really hard to beat the rest of the way and really hard to move the ball on?
Yeah, and it's strange because I've been part of defenses that struggled or weren't good in a certain area, and this one's been different because it's hard to pinpoint. You know, we had our most missed tackles in two games, the Alabama and the Ole Miss game. So missed tackles are a huge indicator of explosive plays and not getting off the field. So it's like whatever the issue is, it rears its head game to game. Auburn, I would say it was quarterback run in the first half. You know, Ole Miss, it was effectively a second down and 10 problem because we got them to second and long a lot, but we didn't get them to third and long any. And it's like, what's going on? Like, how can you get teams to second and 10? So you won one down, but the next thing you know, they're not in third and long. They're in third and short, or they're converting second and 10s to first down. So we got to figure out what it is. It's not fun to be a part of, but when they've had to stop people and we've gone out and needed stops, they've been able to do it. We just haven't done it with any consistency. So I feel good about the group we have. I think we got good, talented players. Just haven't been able to play at the level that we have in the past. And that starts with rushing the passer, giving up free access, getting off the field on third down. I mean, it's just been tough, and we haven't had as many third and longs as we're used to.
Coach, you're playing a Florida team this week that you know very well. For those who don't know the rivalry, what's the best way to sum it up?
Ooh, it's a border war. I mean, like we got a lot of borders, but that's the area that we recruit the most. That's the area that they recruit the most. So like the two states overlap. They've come to our state, got quite a few players from it. We've gone to their state, got quite a few players from it. That's where the SEC East, let's be honest, was won and lost for years. So the rivalry became who won it propels you to Atlanta. And that's created a really strong dislike of both teams to be part of that game, and it's been a great rivalry.
And this year specifically, we've seen a lot of change in the coaching landscape, a lot unusually high number of coaching changes at this point of the year. Florida, obviously just making a change to move on from Billy Napier, and now they have an interim head coach. Are there dangers with is this like interim head coach bump for your team real? We've seen it at UCLA, a couple other places. Like, how are you able to like drill down to your team? Like, hey, all because they're going through this transition doesn't mean they're any less dangerous. They might even be more dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's the later. I think it's the more dangerous. I think when you have new ideas, new input, maybe a couple changes, it just brings new energy. We're constantly trying to do that here because, everybody's like, oh, it's great, coach, you've been there 10 years. Well, if you get there 10 years and you get complacent or things just become mundane, you got to be careful. You're trying to reinvent yourself every week. And I got a saying from Coach Muschamp was every week in the SEC is a season, and we're in another season, and every week is a season. And these guys having a new coach, it could provide juice or energy for them. I've told our team repeatedly, we control our own energy. We control how we play in the game. We control the outcome of the game by what we do. Don't let those thoughts dictate the outcome of the game. Just need to know that we're going to get their best, and our job is to deliver our best.
When there's an interim coach, I always find it interesting to ask the coaches and hear them talk about how far back they have to go to watch film. Is there like a certain distance you have to go back years to watch film? Because we were on Silverfield on last week, and he's like, for UAB, I had to go watch like high school film of a coordinator calling plays. Like, how far back you have to go to find the amount of information you need for Florida might do this weekend?
Yeah, I don't think they got to do that. I mean, these guys have all called plays jointly. They're not going to change what they do in a short span. It's hard to change what all you do. You might have a calling tendency or a trade or maybe a gimmick play. I mean, you just never know what somebody might have. But I don't think we're going to be chasing that much history of guys because their history has been there with Coach Napier.
You mentioned in your answer in the conversation that you had with Coach Muschamp about like every week is a different season in the league, and now being around primarily a lot of Big Ten, Big 12 fans and schools and teams in my time here at Fox, and obviously 20 somewhat years at ESPN and Game Day and covering a lot of SEC as well. People outside the SEC really don't want to hear it, but it almost is a different sport at times. Like if you look at the month of October alone, there were 12 ranked matchups between conference opponents. 8 of them were SEC games. If you go back, you look at Alabama's schedule, your schedule. Like Alabama had a couple weeks back 6 ranked opponents on their schedule, whether past or future. Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon combined had 4. Like it's something that I think people struggle to realize. Like if you look at the depth of the SEC, 1 to 10, it's better than the Big Ten. But at the same time, it's possible that the Big Ten can have a couple of more elite teams. But the depth of the SEC is it's unmatched anywhere.
Yeah, you said it, Chris. I didn't say it. So it's one of those, the SEC bias is there. Everybody says it and everything. It's just funny to me to hear all the national pundits and the different people from the conferences, and everybody has to defend who they represent, right? So there's all this media bias and the game day bias and the ranking bias. Hey man, just go ask the NFL. Just go ask the NFL, because their job is to observe talent. Now you can say, well, they can't equate for how good a team is. Just go ask general managers and go ask scouts where they're looking for D linemen, O linemen, where they pick their players from. And it's not that they don't pick them from other conferences. They do. But the line of scrimmage and the game that's played in this league, I just feel like it's different. And that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it.
I'm a Big Ten guy. I have to be now because my school's in the Big Ten. I watch a lot of film. I would agree with you. I'll give you the trench play in the SEC is a little different than everywhere else. That really stands out. The bodies are big there. But Coach, I don't know if you heard this, but Louisville basketball got a commitment from a G League player. He played pro. That's sort of pro. Now he's obviously playing college basketball. If you could have one player that you coach come back to this team this year, is there a player that stands out?
Wow. Yeah, that's hard.
I gave one guess.
You do
Luke
realize
asked me this last night. I gave one guess, and I want after you give your response, I'm going to say who I said.
Yeah, the problem with that is when I name that person, it offends the person that's currently on our roster. You're like, oh, he don't think I'm good enough. I mean,
so we'll let Bear be the bad guy. So Bear's the bad guy.
I'll be the bad guy. I said Roquan Smith.
Oh wow. I would not have said Roquan, although I love Roquan and he's good. I would not have said Roquan. I wasn't thinking maybe that far back. I mean, I was thinking along the lines of, okay, what do we need? We really need some pass rush. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, how can I get some pass rush? Would it be Travon Walker? Would it be Brock Bowers? It'd be somebody that could impact the game in a way that would be a huge difference maker, and it's hard for one player in football to be that big a difference maker, but we could use a couple of those guys.
Yeah. Roquan was the first guy, and then I said, "Oh, maybe N'Kobe Dean. He might be another good option as well." So yeah, difference makers are nice. Yes. Speaking of making a difference, I know during the off week, you were recently involved Parkinson's and Crohn's disease fundraiser for Coach Richt, and it's on a personal note. That's something that's very close to my heart. My dad has Parkinson's. He's really kind of declined the last couple of years. So anytime I see someone out there, obviously with the impact of like Coach Richt has had on a lot of people's lives, and you and the Bulldog community being involved, that's a great thing. Just talk a little bit about like that event, and if anybody out there wants to be able to contribute and help the cause, how they can do so.
Yeah, incredible event Mark Richt puts on. He gets it sponsored by Chick-fil-A, Dog Nation, the UGA people that follow UGA all support it. But it's a combination effort of Parkinson's and Crohn's disease. His granddaughter has Crohn's, and Coach Richt has Parkinson's. And the research and development here on campus, it's incredible. They're pairing those two things together to try to combat them, and they put on a bowling event every year. It's absolutely incredible. I know you can go through Mark Richt and look into it, and also through AJC post a lot of material for Dog Nation to give. and give back to that. I think they've given over $2 million to research, and it's pretty incredible in 3 years. I know he handed a check out the other night for over $500K this year, and it'll end up being even higher than that at the end of the event. And it's great for our players to give back and be part of the community and such a great cause.
It really is. So certainly encourage all of our viewers and listeners to go to the same. Coach, I appreciate you taking some time on a busy rivalry week. Best of luck, best of health to the team and the Dogs the rest of the way, and hopefully we can catch up with you at some point later down the road.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, Chris, Geoff. Thank y'all.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you to Kirby Smart for joining us. You can find the full interview on our YouTube channel. Please leave us a comment. Who do you think is going to win between Georgia and Florida? We love to see your comments on all the things that we do there on YouTube. It's now time for our Super Six presented by DraftKings. Who will win the game between Ohio State and Penn State? The game that Bear is going to be at with big new kickoff Bear. 20.5 is the number. This was a look ahead at what, Sammy? 4?
Yep. 3.5.
3.5 in the summer. Total is 44.5, according to our wonderful board right here. Bear, any thoughts on this game?
The only thing I could possibly entertain playing here is Penn State's team total under 12.5. Like, how are they scoring 2 touchdowns? I mean, that's the question I have. I mean, Penn State against that defense, which leads the nation in scoring defense, I can't lay 20.5 here. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking it either. The only play that I could potentially make here is Penn State team total under.
I'm going to play under in the game, which is 44.5. This could be 31-10. It could also break my back with a late touchdown, 38-10. You know how it goes when you're playing a low number and you're going under. You need a lot of things to go your way. You can't have any block punts or pick sixes. Right. That's the reality. But I don't think Penn State's going to move the ball a ton. And I also think if there's one game they get up for, like, this is it. If you're Penn State, I do think they bring the physicality early. I don't know how long it lasts, though.
This is why I would look to the Penn State first half at plus 10.5, right? So you're off a bye. You're both off a bye. I get it. But this is like the pride game for this team. You're off a bye. Your coaching staff selling you on this idea that this is it, right? Like, this is the game. This is your Super Bowl right now. Sammy, you mentioned it, like, they have good football players. They're just not playing as good as they should be. Maybe you get the best. If you're not getting it this week, you're never getting it essentially the rest of the season. And so this feels like a kitchen sink game. That's why the team total, I leaned, when we were texting earlier in the week about this, like, I leaned toward the under there, but I could see a trick play. Like, they're going to do everything possible to score points again. Now, Ohio State knows that as well, obviously, but they've had time to study everything they've done all season. They're going to have a trick play. They're going to have something. Their backup quarterback played okay at Iowa, right? I mean, they obviously scored on the field goal block, but they scored, I think, 3 other touchdowns as well.
Was that a 60-yard field goal they tried for the second
67,
time?
yeah.
And blocked.
Yeah, it was 67. Yeah. It wasn't very good. So I think Penn State first half is the only way to play this game. I wish the 3 of us had more conviction on, like, it's a tough game because Penn State has the potential to do certain things. They haven't done it this season. That's why James Franklin is no longer there.
You mentioned the last stand, the rally. I wonder if they do play well, depending on. Did you see the look ahead line for next week against Indiana?
What is it?
Indiana minus 11.5 at State College.
Ooh,
seems kind of pricey. We'll see.
So you don't like Penn State this week, but maybe next week you'll jump in.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, so you want them to get railroaded so then you could take 2 touchdowns.
Exactly. Come up
That's
to 13,
what you
13.
want.
Yeah,
more points.
We're one ahead. Because, and my genesis for that is, like, last week I looked at Indiana's price to finish the year undefeated. It was only like minus 160, and that was before the UCLA game. Now it's like minus 270 or so. Like, it still feels like they're inviting a yes bet on Indiana to go 12-0, even though they're pretty damn good.
I don't think they're losing.
I don't either, but it's like,
even against Ohio State, Big Ten championship.
Well, no, undefeated for regular season. Yeah, I don't think they're losing. Ohio State game, I think I would take Ohio State, but Indiana's just not losing with their schedule the rest of the regular season.
I wouldn't think so either.
All right, we're back here for USC and
Nebraska.
Matt Rule just got a contract extension.
He did.
Ahead of a game that he has never won as a coach. He has never beaten an AP top 25
at Nebraska. Team. At Nebraska and at Baylor.
And at Baylor.
He did have a couple of Temple.
Maybe we pretend USC is just not ranked They were
Sure.
ranked last. They weren't ranked last week. Didn't play and got ranked. I mean, maybe that's the way we look at this game. But the problem with USC in these spots has been the same thing all the time, right? It feels like two things. One is that they get out physical. Now, I'm not sure Nebraska is that type of team up front.
I would agree.
But that happens though in games where it shouldn't happen. I mean, even Purdue moved the ball really well against USC, but had 3 turnovers. Like USC's got to force turnovers typically on defense to be in this games, and then. Whatever reason, Lincoln Riley's play calling on the road on 4th down just goes to shit. Like it just, I don't know what it is. Like the Notre Dame game was the 2
So
4th downs
weird.
were so odd. I don't understand, Sammy, in those moments what USC does. Also worth mentioning, the high on Saturday in Lincoln is 49. This game is at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's gonna be cold. Like USC is a team where like that might matter if this is 38 degrees of kickoff.
So the we don't get the body clock. We don't get the Illinois noon Eastern kick.
Yeah.
Michigan early kick last year. We get the night and
okay,
cold. What do we?
Since we're on this, just quickly.
Yeah. No. Please.
A lot of things about the teams going from the West Coast, they're playing the Big Ten, have frustrated me the way we talk about it. But one of them that I cannot stand is this weather conversation. Okay, because as Iowa and Oregon will play soon, I saw Iowa fans say, "I hope it's really cold." Like,
have you been to Eugene?
Have you been to, like it? The cold weather games matter most often in December and January in the NFL. The season ends at Thanksgiving. Like they're not cold. Right. There's every now and then there's a weird freak weather game in the Big Ten. For the most part, it's not that cold until later in the season. It's a talking point that no one ever has in the NFL except when Miami goes on the road. Nowhere else, like you're not like, well, the Rams are going to lose because it's cold outside. No, they're going to be fine. Like they figure it out. They're NFL players. We got to stop the weather thing in the Big Ten. Big Ten fans, stop the weather thing. I understand it's a big thing for you guys, but like it only matters for UCLA and USC sometimes. Sometimes, bro. That's it. Doesn't matter for Washington or Oregon. It rains and it's cold in the Pacific Northwest.
We've been told.
As for the money in this game, they did the old okey doke. So this number in Vegas opened at 6, got bet to 7. And then once it hit 7, multiple guys took big bets at 7. So that's what we call the okey doke, where you move it one way to get it back the other way. The biggest positions in this game in Vegas were on the dog plus 7. Now we sit at 6. So just important to understand where numbers were and where they are and how they've moved.
What do you think will happen as limits open up in the next couple of days?
Well, we're already down to 6. I don't think we're going to get back to 7. I don't.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but it doesn't look that way, Bear.
Now, I wouldn't think so. I have more faith and belief in USC going there and winning this game and potentially covering the 6 than I do Nebraska. Until they haven't won a big game in forever. I don't think their offense is very good. That was ridiculous. The Northwestern game. I'm going contrarian here. I know you like Nebraska. I would play USC.
So the last comment on this game about Nebraska's offense, Bear, and this is like important.
As opposed to everything else you say, which isn't important.
Correct. This is the only important thing I'm saying. But no, like I know eye test. Some people forget about eye test, but when you watch Nebraska's offense play, it just doesn't look like we were advertised it was going to be this year. And you talk about Northwestern, other games, they go dead for long periods of time. It's not consistent on offense. Raiola gets sacked too much. Like there's just some inconsistencies offensively where USC's offense, I think we know they're going to be there. They're going to show up. Now, Nebraska secondary is good. Can they stop USC? We'll find out. But looking forward to this game on Saturday night, Bear.
Yeah, we are. And maybe it'll be up against a Game 7 in the World Series on Saturday night.
Let's hope Toronto wins a Game 6. We don't have to worry about that. I would love nothing more than Toronto win that game.
It would be great. It really would.
The Dodger friends of my life to receive a text message from me about their failures with the highest payroll and the deferred money and all those things that they're doing that no one else is doing.
If they lose, though, they're going to sign Kyle Tucker. So maybe you don't want them to lose. Maybe you want them to win. I don't know.
Yeah. What pitchers are on the open market next year? We'll sign one of those too.
Who knows? They'll sign all of them.
It would be kind of cool though. I have no wagers. Nothing on the world.
I have nothing on it too.
You know, give me a Game 7 and let's.
Of course, you want a Game 7.
Let's see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah.
Fly
I hope the Blue Jays win, no matter what.
Fly home. Have the baseball game on seat back. Have iPad on something. Have the iPhone on something else. Get multiple devices as we head back from Columbus. And one of those things that earlier in the day, no, actually at night, Oklahoma at Tennessee. That's that right. I believe that's the ABC ESPN primetime game, I believe, this week. And it sure does feel like a lot of people are on Tennessee this week, minus the 3.
The next person that picks Oklahoma will be the first person, I believe, from what I've seen and what I've heard, Geoff.
What's the most reliable thing in this game is probably Tennessee's offense, right? was Oklahoma's defense.
Tennessee's offense by
Right.
far.
So if you look at the most reliable thing, I understand when people are picking Tennessee in this spot because we know that they will probably produce offensively. Will Oklahoma produce offensively? They should. Tennessee's defense has not been good all season, but Oklahoma's offense still has not really been complete most of the year. They don't run the ball unless Mateer does a lot of the running for them. If Tennessee's defense plays a little bit better than they have been, they're probably going to win and cover this game, Bear.
Well, what is better like mean? You allow 34 to a Kentucky team that can't score on air.
Maybe you allow just 24. In this game.
You allow 34 to Mississippi State.
I agree.
Like,
it's not great.
It would be Oklahoma or pass for me. I think that game last week, Oklahoma, slow start, had their chances, couldn't get the win, but they've been able to run the ball a little bit better with Blaylock and not necessarily relying on Mateer. Again, they had chances, some questionable decisions late. Mateer, I don't know if his hand is fully healthy yet, but the Tennessee offense has just been so bad. And we were kind of talking last week about how I said maybe this Oklahoma under 6.5 win total was live. You look now, you get Missouri at the end of the year with Bo Prabula out. You get LSU, and God only knows what's going on there. This potentially could be the difference of, you can get the win here between maybe a 9-win season. 9-3 probably doesn't get you in, but that would probably get a lot of heat off of Brent Venables.
Do you think producer Sully thinks Tennessee's going to win this game?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I think Sully does think they're going to win, and if I'm Sully, I'd be a little concerned and be ready to have my heart ripped out on Saturday night.
I feel like this is going to be the last team to have the ball is going to win type game.
Very easily.
You look at the total; it's been bet up from 55 to 57. I don't know how high we get over the weekend, but this could very easily be Tennessee gets the ball down 4, has to go down the field and score a touchdown, and if they do, obviously they're going to win. I just happen to think we get points on both sides, and Oklahoma's been erratic offensively, but there's nothing that fixes that offense like facing Tennessee's defense.
Speaking of defense, Vanderbilt defense last week was great. Forcing all those bad play calls on the goal line and all those turnovers and fumbles and whatever else. If you had Missouri, I feel for you. I had Missouri, probably the right side. Didn't get the right result. But here are the Commodores 7-1, and they are a short dog going to Texas. Arch Manning, I expect him to be out there and to be okay to play against a Vanderbilt team that, if you can win 2 out of 3 on the road at Neyland this week and home against Auburn, 10-2, like, you're going to go to the playoff.
A key of this game will be Texas' ability to basically limit, I think, Pavia on the ground, right? He's the leading rusher for Vanderbilt. And if they're able to take that away and force them to be more one-dimensional, which I think Texas defense can do, I'm not sure how much Vandy is going to score. The question is, can Texas offense do anything? We think Arch is playing, correct?
Right.
And we saw, look, I guess if you want to spin it forward to Texas, like, they played well in the fourth quarter last week. Can that carry over, Bear, into this game against Vanderbilt?
That was unbelievable. They were done and buried. And Sammy, you touched on the rope-a-dope earlier with USC Nebraska. We see a little rope-a-dope here. This number came down to like 1.5 earlier in the week. Now we're seeing some 3s.
It opened 3 actually last Sunday. So the initial open was Texas -3, and then we did get down, you're right, to around 1, and then there's been a blitz back. I texted some guys around the program. They expect Arch.
Yeah.
That said, I did have to text a bookmaker, Mo Pearson, who I adore.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What's the drop off from Arch to Caldwell?" And he texted back, "Arch who?"
That's great.
I laughed. It's funny. He doesn't think there's that much of a drop off, though. So even if you get Caldwell, Bear, there might not be this huge push against Texas.
Is Sark on the NFL, Bear?
Oh, let me text him and find out right
now.
I'm sure he'll be honest.
I mean, you're plugged in. You're an insider-ish. What'd you make of that report last week? The report that came out. I think Rossini had to walk it back anyways.
It was odd timing for sure.
Yeah, Jimmy Sexton making moves.
Exactly, getting it out there. Maybe Art, maybe a move to another. I don't know. I
stumped the Bear.
I don't think he's going to the NFL.
He's not going to the NFL.
I don't think he's going to the NFL. I think he's pretty happy there. He's got a pretty damn good job right now. He's been to the college football playoff semifinal last 2 years. I think
Another coach who has a
I
good
think he's all right.
guy we had on earlier, Kirby Smart. They face Florida this weekend. They're 7-point favorites. The number feels low, doesn't it?
It does feel low, but as we talked about with Kirby, like we've seen teams this year get that bump. Billy Gonzalez is someone who's familiar with the Florida program and college coaching. I know Urban Meyer mentioned that Gonzalez reached out to him about trying to prepare for this game in Georgia and just kind of assuming the head coaching role. I just ultimately don't know how many points Florida's going to be able to score here. The injury at wide receiver is big, and this is a Georgia team that the week off, I think, helped them. I think they're deep at running back. I think it'll the depth that Kirby mentioned on offensive line now, all the injuries. I know some of the people that we love to fade are on Florida or on Georgia rather, but I don't know if I can
get there with
get there with Florida.
By the way, our double fade last week went 2-0, so that's important to note, as people might not like that we talk about the fades, but they win us money. Sammy, the thing about this is like the new coach bump. Do you believe in that?
No.
Like, I don't either. And Florida won 2 of their previous 3 games before they fired their coach. Like, it's not like they were playing terrible football and were 0-7 and fired their coach. They beat Texas, right? And they beat Mississippi State, right?
They allowed one offensive touchdown at LSU and a one-score game at Miami.
So I'm not sure that coaching change makes the offense that much better in this spot. And Georgia that week off, Kirby worked on tackling. He worked on defense. We've seen improvements in games on defense. They need you to start a little faster on defense. I think it's a good spot for them to do that. I would lay the 7 before anything else in this game. I like Georgia in this one here. Cincinnati at Utah.
By the way, have either of you ever been to the Georgia-Florida game in Jacksonville?
I have not, no. I could get there in like 5 hours, I think, in Charlotte, yeah.
Spending a Friday night down there at the Landing. The 50-50 crowd split the way they have it lined up.
Is it cordial?
Everybody is lovely and cordial and caring about others. Very, very polite. Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
Take a one. I had one of the funniest stories on my road happened at the Adams Mark Hotel in I think maybe 2002 cocktail party. It might have been. We'll have to save it for off the air. But I always love giving David Pollock, who was on the show early this year, grief because we talk about this game a lot. And Kirby was talking about some of his memories. I always joke about Pollock because remember in that 2002 game, they were probably going to be in position to play Miami for the national championship, and they had the fumble recovery, the pick, whatever it was, and then Pollock got called for a forward lateral to Jones, who wound up taking it back, and penalty negated it, and Terrence Edwards, the alligator arms, they wound up losing. And Pollock, who doesn't curse at all. Like, you want to get him, and you want to get David Pollock animated on Twitter, ask him about the forward lateral.
Wait, why would it revert back? The interception should stand.
Yeah, but and then he.
Right, but it should still be their ball.
Yes, it was, but it cost him points.
Oh, cost him points. Okay. That's not.
Yeah. You want to get Pollock going? Ask him about that.
I'll do that one time. Cincinnati guys at Utah. Utah's favored by 10 now. Big number, but I would much rather ride with Utah here than Cincinnati. I think Utah's going to cover this game.
Feels like Cincy's kind of getting that underdog with fleas. And I initially thought it looked a little high too, but it doesn't look like there's been any resistance in the number. I like Sorsby, but Utah is such a freaking weird team, man.
I hate betting on them.
Pierre
may or may not play. Do you know that?
Really, he may or may not play.
Game time decision?
Yeah.
He may or may not come out with his ankles taped.
They told Stormy, who was doing the sideline.
Yeah.
We love Stormy.
Yes.
They told Stormy like 5 seconds until kickoff that Dampier was not going to play.
Yeah, I know. We were all texting. I think all 3 of us are separately texting her. It's just on a group chat.
That's insane that they can keep getting away with this. I haven't known for 3 years who's playing quarterback at Utah.
And then when we do know, we lose every bet. So that's also not great.
By the way, sidebar here.
Yes.
With you see Brett McMurphy, our buddy, has a story about all the roster availability. Yeah. Good read for
Utah fans did not like it, but they deserve it.
They deserve it.
They've been very poor about and misleading about the injury reporting. I mean, does it matter? Utah people will tell you that the backup is you get the same production from him as you would.
Well, he doesn't throw like Dampier. He's a better runner, I think, but he's not a downfield threat.
Still throw the ball downfield. This is, I think, a tough spot for the Bearcats.
I think it
It's a 10:15 Eastern game in Utah. So it's a 10:15. It's a late game for them. Utah's really good on third down. The Bearcats are okay on the third down, but have some issues at times. I just think this is a Utah, like, it's going to be ugly, but I think they're going to win and cover this game.
It would be Utah or pass for me. Sammy, you got any play here?
I wish I laid 7. That's what I had the opportunity to do on Monday and Tuesday and did not. And now we're at 10.
Now, does that completely erase the possibility of, because I know people are afraid sometimes if you miss the best of the number, I could have laid 7 and I'm not going to lay 10. Like, is this a complete non-starter for you? Like, you are not going to play Utah at this
I
place?
certainly wouldn't play Cincy. I'm not going to flip on
Right.
myself. You know, that's not going to happen. Although
Until the newsletter comes out.
until the newsletter comes out, yes. No, I wish I'd bet 7. I was staring at it on Monday and like, ooh, can I get to 7, and then just didn't do it. So if I miss the number, it's hard to get there, Bear. It's just hard.
Well, our next game is at 7, Sammy. I think you like this one. Texas Tech 7.5 at Kansas State here. Kansas State now up to 4-4. Maybe the Dublin curse is finished here for Kansas State. But what do you like in this one?
I'm ready to throw some chips.
Okay.
Throw some chips on the Fighting Sniders. I think they win the game outright, man. This is sleepy spot. Tech's got some issues at quarterback. We know Morton's not healthy. Hammond is out. K-State's been running the ball better. It's going to be like 50 degrees, rainy, windy. This is K-State. I think they're going to win.
Upset alert?
Yes, big time.
I think you have it in our 2-minute drill. Oh, I think you do. Yeah. Oh,
Don't
yeah.
spoil the
I was going to say, unbelievable. What you're a
tease. It's supposed to tease. Tease.
But now you know
You didn't tease.
You didn't tease. You told.
So I think you have it in upset alert. It's a tease. I said I
not a
think you
tease.
have it
That's
there.
not-
Sammy
that's not a
confirmed it.
tease.
He could just said you have to find out and see later.
You're terrible, Geoff.
K-State's going to win, Bear.
Yeah, like we gave you the Oregon meteorological report before. Have you been to Lubbock? Don't worry about 50 and rain and wind. Lubbock is plenty windy. If you haven't,
I just did it to upset Geoff, actually. I brought the weather up because he hates the weather reports.
Morton is playing, by the way. So
he's going to
Yeah,
play.
he's going to play. I don't think he's
play.
healthy.
He's going to play. That's good. All right. A game that near and dear to our hearts, most likely. Miami with a miracle cover last week. Thank you, Miami. Mario, for maybe knowing the number. At SMU here. It's worth mentioning that Mario Cristobal has had some troubles in the month of November. That's all we'll talk about it. But they are laying a big number here, over a touchdown, on nearly 2 touchdowns, 12.5 against SMU.
When he makes that face, you know. He doesn't even have to
it was
speak.
the same face that I made before the Louisville game around about laying this big of a number. Like, what concerns me is first time out of the state. Yeah, you went to Florida State and you won, and that's fine, but the Noles are terrible. Like, Rhett Lashley has had this game, former Miami offensive coordinator. He's had this game circled on his calendar all year. They were terrible on offense last week at Wake Forest and lost on a last-second field goal. The only question I have, well, not the only one, the biggest question I have about SMU, did Kevin Jennings did the end of his career really happen on the road last year at State College in the playoff when he was terrible? He has not been the same player this year. We'll see if he can bounce back this week. I don't know. I'm not playing this game at all. It looks like Miami, the number has come up quite a bit. So it looks like the Canes have gotten a good bit of support. I'm curious. Was Messidor out there a lot last week against Stanford? I was going in and out of the game. Akeem Messidor.
It was like a fourth screen for me. I just was barely. I was hoping they would cover. That's
because he's a big.
I'll just look over and be like, "Oh, they scored. Good. Oh, they scored again."
He's a big part of Miami's defense. Got hurt against Louisville. Really was a non-factor the rest of the night. Didn't play very much after that. If he's not healthy this week, that's a big deal.
So I think SMU's the shot. I think SMU's the call here too. The early game as well, which I think
it is early.
I don't know if that matters at all, but it is early.
It's going to be an interesting early window for me on Saturday because we got Ohio State, Penn State. So I'll come inside after the show. Vandy, Texas is early.
Yeah.
Miami, SMU is early, and then the Breeders' Cup is early.
So We're hosting a softball party for my daughter's softball team on Saturday.
Okay, so you're not actually playing softball at the Schwartz house?
No, I'm not
Just-
playing
okay.
softball. We're hosting a party. And one of my favorite things my wife does, she's not a sports fan. So every time we host a party, any time of the year, she goes, put sports on for the dads. It could be like the middle of May. Sports, put sports on. And I'm like, there's no sports on. What do you want me to
Soccer.
12 o'clock in May. No, there's no sports on right
early?
now. What?
Indy 500? Maybe Premier
There's
League?
very
yeah?
few sports to watch in the middle
Horse
of
racing?
May at 12 o'clock on a Sunday when we have a party. There's not much to put on. This
Baseball?
Saturday, though, I will finally be able to put on
Braves
a
baseball.
full slate of, a full slate of football. I cannot wait to be like the cool dad that gets to watch football like other dads.
How did your party go? Your outing, whatever it was.
Oh yeah,
last
this
week?
past weekend. Yeah, I watched. So I was sitting next to. I was at this trivia night at my son's school. It was outside. It was really really cold. It was outside. We met this entire group of friends, which was nice. But the guy sitting next to me went to Vandy, him and his wife. And so I pulled the game on
You
my
had
phone.
Missouri.
I was able to like watch the end of the Missouri Vandy game, and he was super into it. So I like made a friend.
Okay,
And
good.
My wife was happy they made a friend, so she was okay with me watching the
Okay,
game.
good.
They didn't care about the phone being out for the trivia. I will say though, I've been out of the house for 2 Oregon games, Indiana and the first half against Wisconsin.
I know where you're going to be next week at noon.
I will be out of the house for the Iowa game because my son has a flag football game at 2 o'clock.
Oh.
Money line.
So if that is a game on Big Noon Kickoff, which I think it might be at some point. I
look ahead line 6.5 too.
I
By the
will
way,
have to go to my
Oh,
son's game. I
no.
don't I mean I help coach,
Oh
but
no!
it's not good, Bear. I've been out of the house for 2 games they played so far this year, and they've been
Does,
the 2 worst in the middle of the
does
season.
Coach Lanning know this?
Coach Lanning does not know this. I'll text him tomorrow and see how he's doing, or Friday and Saturday, whenever we
Oh,
are
boy.
on Saturdays, and see how he's doing watching the games. He's like Kirby. He watches the games on Saturday when he's off.
It's great. Football lifer, lover of ball.
Super weird game this week because it's at Cal, and all games at Cal tend to be weird. And I believe it's not that late at night, so it's a day game for
Yeah, I was
Cal.
gonna say
But
day.
Virginia is at Cal here, Bear. You have thoughts on Virginia in this game, I think.
Yeah,
Cal,
they're
Virginia?
favored. But they're like the BYU of the East. It's like you've got 3 overtime wins. The way you've won games, it just hasn't been impressive, but you continue to do it. So and the game they lost at NC State, it's like you look at NC State, like how the hell they lose that game with how poor NC State's defense is. I don't get good vibes around this Cal team at all. Like quarterback is young and good, but
It's a weird team, man. It's a weird team. Oof.
Someone mentioned some things going on within the locker room this week and within the football building that concerned him. And I don't know, unsubstantiated, whatever. But guy that I trust is like, yeah, I just didn't have a good feel about Cal this week. So I certainly can't lay the 4.5 with the Virginia in this ACC game.
I think it's an under game. I mean, the market's moved a little bit to the under. There's still a 53 out there. If you could find it, I would go under. I don't know that Virginia is going to score a ton. I mean, it's been a very fun team, and they put up some numbers, of course. And when we think about Virginia, we think about Tony Elliott and putting up points. But Cal's been pretty good defensively. The problem is, are you going to get the NFL freshman quarterback, or are you going to get the freshman quarterback?
I was on my flight out here to New York. There was 2 guys talking, and one of them was like, my daughter's at Virginia. She's a big basketball fan. She went because they were good at basketball, and then Tony Elliott left. But now we're a football school. So Tony Bennett. So now Virginia fans think they're a football school. So it's a big moment for them at Cal this weekend.
They're a baseball school at some point too, right?
Were they a baseball school?
Yeah, they're good. They're a good
pretty
baseball
good.
team. Yeah,
They had a bad run as of late, but
yeah.
No, I don't pay attention to
It
college.
all
I should have, because now my favorite baseball team hired Tennessee's baseball coach, who I know nothing about.
Yeah, no, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that goes out
It's
there.
either going to be really bad or really good. There's no way it's in the middle. We've been in the middle for 10 years now.
So he and Posey are connected.
They know
somehow.
each
Is
other.
that-
I think so.
It'll be interesting because I think some of the things that made him so great at Tennessee, like, is that going to translate to a Major League Baseball locker room?
We need better players.
That
would be helpful. The Dodgers have better players.
Well,
than
he
us.
can
It's
get
weird how
that.
that works.
He can recruit better players in college, but the Gigante is going to open up the.
I mean, does a young player want to play with Melvin Bob Melvin, or they want to play with this new guy? I feel like that the selling of a younger manager might be helpful.
I think that will help.
And like the forward ideas about how to build your baseball team would be helpful, and that's I think why you hire him.
Good. Make it young, make it fresh. Good.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
Anything else, Barrett, for today?
Yeah. I almost said BCS, college football. You're talking about outside of the football world?
Whatever you want, but preferably college football.
College football playoff rankings. A lot of times, books like to put up some of these props on where a team will be ranked. Mostly, it's like at the end of the year, but sometimes they'll throw this like who will be ranked number 1 in the college football playoff rankings. I think there's a really good chance Indiana is number 1 on Tuesday night. Maybe possibly Texas A&M, but just having been through that mock playoff ranking exercise and knowing the things that they look at, you're going to see some eye-popping statistics for Indiana. And Indiana's got a better win than Ohio State does. The Indiana win at Oregon is going to go a long way for their resume. It's much better than the Ohio State home win over Texas in week 1. So the playoff committee always likes to do something early on that is easily changeable, easily correctable, or going to play itself out.
Yeah.
Putting Indiana number 1 week 1 is something that ultimately means nothing. Long term, I don't think. I mean, people could argue that if they put Indiana 1, that would certainly mean that even if they were to lose the Big Ten championship game,
have a bye,
that they would not fall out of the top 4, and potentially that's true. But at the same time, I think in order to like this whole narrative, they just copy the AP poll or whatever, I think they mix it up a little bit. I think there's a good chance Indiana's number 1 on Tuesday night.
Whoo, they're going to be upset in Columbus. They're going to hate that when Indiana shows up on line number 1. And you're right, it doesn't matter because we will find out who's better when they do meet in the Big Ten championship. It does not matter who you put number 1. What about A&M?
I don't think it'll be A&M.
Probably just because they're off this week too.
But also, I think Maryland might cover against Indiana this weekend. I need to not stop being a whip, but just bet it because. But if Indiana plays a little bit of a sluggish game, Maryland has a good defensive line. Like it's sort of a sandwich spot between a big new kickoff game and a trip to Penn State. It feels like a spot where just like if you're looking for maybe a spot where a team can be a little bit slow to start and play a little ugly, this game is that spot for Indiana this weekend.
That'll be something to pay attention to next week. And I'm going to have to go back through and look, and hopefully I've done this before. And my only concern is that I did it at my old place of employment and forgot to save my file with all this information over and onto my new computer here. Like when the first playoff rankings or the first BCS rankings come out, a lot of times it's like a reality check for teams as to, oh my God, we're here. We need to win big, or, and
they lose.
Pressure gets to them.
Oh yeah. It becomes real.
Texas A&M was like a 2-touchdown favorite one year at Mississippi State and got blown out when they debuted at like 4 in the rankings.
It becomes real.
It becomes real, and to see how teams react to the news on Tuesday, it could be a handicapping angle for next Tuesday night.
Well, let's get to our 2-minute drill here now. Our favorite over under of the week. Sammy, what do you got?
I'm going to go to the Bears game. His favorite
Chicago
game.
Bears?
Ohio State. No, you're going to be at Ohio State, Penn State.
I will be.
I know you can't wait to watch a 20-point favorite with a
Again.
total of 44. I'm just going to pray. I like unders, guys. I bet a lot of unders. The under did not work last week, although it was 10-6 at half and
7-6.
Oh, 7-6?
Yeah.
Even better.
Oh,
even
great.
better.
I feel even
When
worse
you text
now.
me kickoff return, open second half, wasn't watching.
You knew what was coming.
The kick return and then the ensuing drive was intercepted, and then the team just walked into the end zone. All that said, we're going to go under 44.5. I think Penn State's going to fight. It won't be enough to win, obviously, but I think they can keep this ugly and keep it under 44.5.
So I like the total under in Vandy, Texas. I mean, what is that now? Because we were talking earlier, and it was like 45.
47, I think you mentioned
now
earlier,
it's
right,
gone
Sammy?
way up to so that I'll take the better number under 47 here in this game. I think this a defensive game. I think Vandy struggles to score. Texas, we know offensively not as good this season. Their offensive line has had issues. So I will take the under here. in the game between Texas and Vandy. The number keeps moving, but right
46 is the best you could get right, now.
it's a
So they
46.
bet
I'll
it
say
to
46.
47, and then
So
So
somebody
what we
came
were
under.
talking went from 45 to 47 to 46. So 46 officially under for this game. That's what I can get right now.
Line subject to change.
Of course.
Always.
yes. I'm sure people are tailing me, so they
Clearly, when you hear this on Thursday night and Friday, you'll be able to settle.
total's
on it.
50.
Exactly. What the hell?
You
It's
should
now
You should
41.
comment in the YouTube video about what the total is at the time you listen to this. There
Yes.
you go. So we'll find
But
out.
it's good for the exercise and showing that we're not just making shit up all along the way. We're actually looking at
Yes.
numbers as we're doing this. It's not just random garbage. But one thing I know that is garbage is the defense of the State University of New Jersey.
You were correct.
And they are going to Champaign, Illinois this week. I will not be in Champaign, Illinois this week for a third time this year. I'm going over 37.5 Illinois team total.
Are they a playoff team or not?
I do not think with 3 losses they're going to make the playoff. We'll see if they can win out and go 9-3 and have another shot at 10 in the bowl. They'll win this week against Rutgers. Illinois, the offense at home against a terrible defense. This feels like a game where Altmaier and that offense gets right. This could be like a 45-17 type of game. So I am going Illinois team total over 37.5.
Sammy, who's your underdog they can win outright?
Well, you already spoiled it. It's
Did
Kansas State.
spoil it.
You changed your mind. You have a second one?
No,
Just Kansas State.
no, I only picked one. They said underdog to win outright, not underdogs.
Underdogs, Kansas State. There you go. I
Kansas
teased
State,
it. I
plus
paid-
240.
We just paid the tease off. There you
There
go.
we go.
I like Colorado to win at
Hell.
home against Arizona off that embarrassing loss. Arizona on the road so far in conference play has not been really good. This is the end of the line. Colorado loses this game. They're not a bowl team, I think, right? They're 3-6 right now. So very important game. It's going to be 3-5 right now. But a very important game for Colorado. They're better at home than on the road. So give me Colorado here.
Actually, I look at their schedule because I played under 6.5 and over 5.5. So I
put
got
under
a
6.5, yeah.
middle on 6. So
I
if they land on 6, it's Jenga for them.
I think 6 is probably about right because it's at West Virginia, then a bye, then Arizona State, then Kansas State.
They'll lose Arizona State, Kansas State.
Mm.
So I need them to win.
Yeah.
You need them to win this week. So go see you, rah, 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 Buffs, whatever, off of the ugly game last week.
Bad.
I'm going to stay out west. I'm going to go with New Mexico is my underdog to win outright. UNLV has been flirting with losses all year long. Fortunately, they only have one. They easily could have 4. They got drilled at Boise a couple of weeks ago last time they played. New Mexico's offense is difficult to prepare for. I think they're going to have a pretty easy time, relatively, scoring 30 points. So if New Mexico can score 35-31, puts a cover, obviously, in play, and I think an outright win potentially in play too. New Mexico's an underrated, undervalued team this year, and I think UNLV, despite their record, is a little bit overvalued.
All right. Well, that's it for our 2-minute drill and our underdog we like to win outright. We'll be back with our best bets in a second. All right, we're back for our best bets. A little recap of some ways we had already in the show, but also some new ones. Barry, you have new ones. What do you like this week?
I do have plenty of new ones. I like West Virginia getting 13.5 against Houston. Look, I know Houston got the win. They're ranked. There's a chance they could win out, go 11-1, make the Big 12 championship game. But their offense has been hit or miss this year. I think you get West Virginia now played their best game of the year, at least defensively, against TCU last week. So the Ears, I think, are live as a 13.5-point dog. Like New Mexico against UNLV. The Rebels have been begging for a loss all year long. We've been on their season with total under, been against them quite a few times. Boise finally obliged with that loss a couple weeks ago. New Mexico, that offense, I think, is going to be a problem. They're going to have a difficulty keeping them under 30. South Carolina getting 12.5 against Ole Miss. I'm hoping there's a 13 that pops. The question is, was that their last stand last week? They deserved a better fate. They should have won. They should have beaten Alabama. But you look at Ole Miss's SEC games, they've all been 1-score wins. And then they had the close win against Wazoo. Might be asking a lot off of the letdown kind of now against OU to win by 2 touchdowns. And I'm sorry, Coach Silverfield. Congratulations on extending the Bear Bets podcast winning streak. Congratulations on that. But now this is like the classic spot.
Oh, yeah.
Short week, sandwich game, big comeback. Now you're going to the playoff, going to the ASC championship game. Good old Rice is a 14-point favorite.
Halloween
Tulane
night.
next week. Halloween. It's just Rice is the only side you can play.
Halloween night, scary time at Rice.
He just turned on your boy on a dime, huh?
He didn't say he was going to lose.
That's true.
That's
true.
I look, that short week, huge win for them on the road. I understand it.
It's a big number.
31-20. Would anybody be disappointed? If you texted Coach Silverfield right now and said, Ryan, I'm going to give you a 31-20 win.
He would take it in a heartbeat.
He would take it in a heartbeat.
Call him right now. Tell him.
Right.
Tell him 31-20.
He would take that in a
don't do
heartbeat.
that. I'm going to go with SMU here. And I've made 4 Miami-related bets this year. 1 against Notre Dame.
Win.
1 against USF.
Win.
Carson Beck Heisman.
Great CLV.
Not a win.
Corner of the market.
And Miami to make the playoff. I'm a Mario defender. I don't understand a lot of the hate. That said, it's tough to defend the record in November and December. 4-10, last 14 games in November and December. You don't even want to look at me when I give the record.
I'm looking right into the computer.
I need them to make the playoff, but I don't trust them on the road, leaving Florida for the first time all season and covering 12.5. You understand, right?
I get it. And it's that early game, right? It's 12 Eastern too. So it's just wake up and play. It's a little different for a lot of colleges. Miami, I don't think has played a game that early so far this season. So it'll be lively in Dallas for that.
Yeah, Miami should win, and I hope they win to make the playoff, but I don't love this number. As for a dog that I like to maybe win outright, and I hope, Kansas State plus 7.5. They're playing good ball. It's going to be 51, rainy, windy. That's Kansas State weather right there against that fast, high-octane Texas Tech offense. So I'm going to take the points there. And if I have to see Diego Pavia's mom and Ocho Cinco again, I'm going to lose my mind. Have you guys seen
I choose to not consume that content.
It's the strangest content on the internet right now. It's Pavia, the mom, Ocho. They're talking about smoking cigars. I don't know, Bear. I don't know what's going on. Texas beats Vandy, ends the Pavia nonsense.
Let's root for that for Sammy. I'm with you on, I think, Texas winning that game. Very quickly here, game we talked about earlier, Nebraska getting 6 points against USC. Something has to give here. I guess it really doesn't have to because USC can win but not cover. And then Rule cannot win again. 0-18 in his career against AP-ranked teams. So he could be 0-19, whatever. I think Nebraska's going to cover this game. I think they'll do enough to get this done. I like Washington State on the road to Oregon State. They're laying 3.5 here. The Beavers are 1-7. All right. They won 1 game against Lafayette last week. It's just 2 weeks ago now. The Cougars last month have been some good football. Beat Colorado State, lost by 3 to Ole Miss on the road, went to Virginia, were up 10 in the fourth quarter, ended up losing by 2, and just beat Sammy, close your ears here, Toledo last weekend.
Ugh.
I think they're playing much better football, and they're better than Oregon State. It's not going to be a big road atmosphere here. Last one is Minnesota against Michigan State. Minnesota's been much better this season as a home team. They're back at home after being embarrassed by Iowa. Michigan State's defense, guys, is atrocious. Really, really bad. Minnesota plays better at home because their quarterback is young. I think they handle business in this game, Bear. I like Minnesota here laying the 3 points.
I need the Gophers to win there. We're holding on that Minnesota over 7.5, and to have any shot, I was banking on a win.
There we go.
Over the Spartans. So that's all we got for you this week. Appreciate you again tuning in as always on FS1, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Thanks to Coach Smart. Thanks to Sammy. Thanks for Geoff. And thanks to you. We're back, of course, with Bruce and the Bear on Fridays. A big noon kickoff on Saturday. Importantly, remember, rate, subscribe. Plus you bet, or you lose or you win.